Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, ask and answer a question, reveal the books I bought this week, and somewhere on this episode is a mystery pop-up segment. Where will it be? It's a mystery. Shh. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching a Comic Hero Show. Now kick that intro! Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. This month is Brain Tumor Awareness Month. I'll touch base on that later on, but for right now, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. Alright, on last week's episode, I asked, which legendary comic book creator strongly disliked teenage sidekicks? Well, the correct answer is Stan Lee. He believed that teenagers were just as capable of being solo superheroes as adults. You know that old saying, children should be seen and not heard? Well, he believes children should be seen and heard. And that's what one of the reasons why he created both the X-Men and Spider-Man, because they were just as capable of being solo acts. Well, the correct answer is Stan Lee, and 4 people have answered correctly, and because you've answered correctly, your name's been entered in a drawing for a free tee, and that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is Shelby Hooks from Camden, Arkansas. So congratulations, Shelby. You yourself a free Comic Hero tee. All right, here's the question for next week's episode, and this is both a Superman and a Justice League question. Which fellow member of the Justice League did Superman entrust a piece of Kryptonite to in case he went rogue? Was it A, Batman, B, Wonder Woman, or C, Aquaman? Alright, here's some hints to help. The first hint is that this character made their first appearance in Detective Comics number 27 in 1939 and was created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. The second hint, this character was played on the small screen by the late great Adam West. The third hint, this character was voiced on the small screen by the late great Kevin Conroy. And then the fourth and final hint, this is a dead giveaway if you're a moviegoer. This character was played on the big screen by Michael Keaton, George Clooney, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck, Robert Pattinson, and the late great Val Kilmer. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. So, I gotta ask, any questions?
Questions I walk around in. Questions I didn't thrive in. Questions I will survive in. Questions.
This question comes from John Stout from Bastrop, Louisiana. He asked, how do you feel about Krypto and the Robot Guardians in the Fortress of Solitude wearing super capes in the new Superman movie? When most movies try to real-world things nowadays, do you enjoy them sticking to the old comics with that minor detail aspect? Actually, I do, and I really love what James Gunn is doing with this movie. But all these, anyone who works on the crew of just about any comic book movie, past or present, God bless them. Because they try to do everything they can to stay close to the envelope as possible, but at the same time giving a creative twist. And it's not easy. It's one of the hardest things to do, because you want to please all the folks that that read the comics. Try to do it as right as possible, but you don't want to stay too close to the envelope to the point where it's almost like you're using the script from actual comic books. But I think it's great. I mean, what Gunn is doing with the Superman movie, July 11 can't get here any faster. Really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great. It's going to be a masterpiece from what I've seen from some of the behind the scenes things and what I've seen in all the trailers. I mean, say what you will, but I think this movie's going to be great. I think, now, will it ever be great as the first Superman movie that came out in 1978? No, that's impossible. Nothing will ever top that. But here's the thing. Now, I've never said this before on the show, but when Gunn casted David Corenswet, he practically went the same route that the Salkinds and Richard Donner did. They ended up casting a relatively unknown actor to play the role. I mean, when Christopher Reeve was casted as Superman, and no one knew who he was. No one knew he was until he played this role. So I think David Corenswet is going to make himself known in this movie. And then there's going to be a lot of great actors that are going to add more stamps to their resumes. I mean, whether you're talking about Rachel Brosnahan, who else? Rachel Brosnahan, Nathan Fillion, Wendell Pierce. I mean, I could just go on and on, but I think they're going to do great. And, well, yeah, that's it. All right, really loving these questions y'all are asking me. Y'all keep them up, and they can either pertain to comics or anything within the realm, or they could even pertain to me in terms of both the show or the hobby. But please, please, sir, please, ma'am, no personal or tasteless questions. I will neither ask nor answer them. All right, let's get to the comics I bought this week. Hey everyone, now this month is also Lupus Awareness Month. Now lupus is a disease that occurs when your body's immune system attacks your own tissues and organs. This is also known as an autoimmune disease. Inflammation caused by lupus can affect many different body systems, including your joints, skin, kidneys, blood cells, brain, heart, and lungs. Lupus can be difficult to diagnose because its signs and symptoms often mimic those of other ailments. The most distinctive sign of lupus, a facial rash that resembles the wings of a butterfly unfolding across both cheeks, occurs in many but not all cases. Some people are born with a tendency towards developing lupus, which may be triggered by infections, certain drugs, or even sunlight. While there is no cure for lupus, treatments can help control symptoms. Now, signs and symptoms are joint pain, muscle pain, or chest pain, especially if you're taking a deep breath. Headaches, fever, hair loss, mouth sores, fatigue, which means feeling tired all the time, shortness of breath, also known as dyspnea, swollen glands, swelling in your arms, legs, or on your face, confusion, and blood clots. Lupus can sometimes cause other health conditions or issues, including photosensitivity or sensitivity to sunlight, dry eye, depression, or other mental health conditions, seizures, anemia, osteoporosis, heart disease, kidney disease, and Raynaud's syndrome. Now, Raynaud's syndrome is a condition that causes spasms in small blood vessels in your digits, or in other words, your fingers or your toes. And this limits blood flow and leads to symptoms like skin color changes, cold skin, and a pins and needles sensation. Anyone can develop lupus, but some groups of people have a higher risk, and it can affect either a man or woman, but mostly women, and especially women that are in the ages of 15 and 44. It also affects Black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, Indigenous people, Pacific Islanders, and people with a biological parent who has or had lupus. Now, here in America, there are 200,000 cases per year, which makes it common. And I had a childhood friend who died from complications of lupus somewhere around 20 years ago. And I didn't know what lupus was until right after they had passed away. But if you're watching this and you're living with lupus, or you're a family member or a friend of someone who has lupus, or a family member of a friend of someone died from complications of lupus, I love y'all, and this mystery pop-up segment is for y'all. All right, this is a Lupus Awareness Comic Hero tee. And if you would like one, you can find them on IamTheComicHero.com/shop for $17, and I will donate half of each purchase to the Lupus Foundation of America. All right, earlier this week on my last visit to Excalibur Comics, I found two books. One was a book that I decided I was going to read, and another one was a filler. And I'm going to go ahead and reveal what those books are right now. So here we go. They are Fantastic Four Fanfare number 1. And Star Trek Defiant number 26. Alright, with those two, that brings the total number of comics that I've bought since December of 1997 to 13,664. Comic books I bought this week. Alright, here we go. First up is Absolute Green Lantern number 2. Absolute Superman number 7. All New Venom number 6. The Amazing Spider-Man number 3. Batgirl number 7. Deadpool number 14. Gatchaman number 9. JSA number 7. Laura Kinney Wolverine number 6. Psylocke number 7. Sam Wilson Captain America number 5. Secret Six number 3. Silverhawks number 3. Spider-Gwen the Ghost Spider number 13. Two-Face number 6. Ultimate Wolverine number 5. West Coast Avengers number 7. And finally, X-Men number 16. Alright, that's 17, which brings the total number of comics that I've bought since December of 1997 to 13,681. All right, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this week's episode. Here's a question again for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. Which fellow member of the Justice League did Superman entrust a piece of kryptonite to in case he went rogue? Was it A, Batman, B, Wonder Woman, or C, Aquaman? All right, here's some hints to help. The first hint is that this character made their first appearance in Detective Comics number 27 in 1939 and was created by Bill Finger and Bob Kane. The second hint, this character was played on the small screen by the late great Adam West. The third hint, this character was voiced on the small screen by the late great Kevin Conroy. And then the fourth and final hint, this character was played on the big screen by Michael Keaton, George Clooney, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck, Robert Pattinson, and the late great Val Kilmer. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Shelby Hooks from Camden, Arkansas, who won a free tee on this episode. All right, this month is Brain Tumor Awareness Month. Now, a brain tumor is a growth of cells in the brain or near it. Nearby locations include nerves, the pituitary gland, the pineal gland, and the membranes that cover the surface of the brain. General signs and symptoms caused by brain tumors may include headache or pressure in the head that is worse in the morning, headaches that happen more often and seem more severe, headaches that are sometimes described as tension headaches or migraines, nausea or vomiting, eye problems such as blurry vision, seeing double or losing sight on the sides of your vision, losing feeling or movement in an arm or a leg, trouble with balance, speech problems, feeling very tired, confusion in everyday matters, memory problems, having trouble following simple commands, personality or behavioral changes, seizures, especially if there's no history of seizures, hearing problems, dizziness or a sense that the world is spinning, which is also known as vertigo, and feeling hungry and gaining weight. Now, there are more than 200,000 cases per year here in America, which make it common, and it can be dangerous or life-threatening if untreated. One of the great R&B singers of the mid to late 60s succumbed to a brain tumor, and I'm talking about the late great Tammy Terrell. She wasn't even 26 when she died. And then one of the great game show hosts and actors, Burt Convey, died from a brain tumor in 1991. And then one of my favorite R&B singers from when I was growing up and all the way through adulthood, the late great James Ingram, died from a brain tumor in 2019. And if you're watching this and you're living with a brain tumor, or if you're watching this or you know someone who has a brain tumor, or if you know someone who has died from complications from a brain tumor, I love y'all, and this episode is for y'all. All right, this is a Brain Tumor Awareness Comic Hero tee. If you would like one, you can find them on IamTheComicHero.com/shop for $17, and I will donate half of each purchase to the National Brain Tumor Society. All right, here's the road ahead for the show. On next week's episode, I'm celebrating Memorial Day. Now, Memorial Day is when we honor the men and women that have served in any branch of the U.S. military who are no longer with us, whether they were killed in action, had gone missing in action, or prisoners of war, or died later in life. So if you're watching this and you're a family member of someone who is no longer with us, this episode is for y'all. And also in a mystery pop-up segment, I'm going to raise awareness of strokes. This month is National Stroke Awareness Month. I've never raised awareness of it before, but I know some folks that have had strokes, and I want to make aware of this cause, because it's just, here's the thing, whenever I raise awareness of the cause, I do it straight from the heart, and I know that that sometimes it can be very lengthy, some of the info I give you, but you just never know. It could be your parents, it could be your grandparents, it could be your siblings, it could be your nephew, it could be your niece, it could be your cousin, your uncle, your aunt, a co-worker. You just never know. And so that's what I want to do. I know this web series is devoted to comic books and everything within the realm, but I also want to show people that I care, and that there are so many things, horrible things that are going on that I want to make light of, and be a beacon of light to a hurting world. All right, and then on episode 525 in 2 weeks, it's back, folks. The Summer of Superheroes, and it's going to be episode 525 all the way through the month of August. And the last 2 episodes, I've unveiled the Summer of Superheroes logo. I'm going to do it again, so check it out. And as promised, I'm going to have t-shirts coming out real soon. So y'all go on. So as soon as they're on IamTheComicHero.com/shop, I will let y'all know. All right, if you're watching, oh, don't forget, while I'm thinking about it, GeekCon. Meet me at GeekCon at the Shreveport Convention Center in Shreveport, Louisiana on August the 22nd through the 24th. I'm going to be there, and several other great guests and vendors are going to be there, so y'all come. And then on November the 8th at the West Monroe Convention Center in West Monroe, Louisiana, meet me for the 2nd annual Louisiana Delta Comic Con. I will be there as a guest. All right, if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, welcome. And as soon as you're done, hit subscribe. If you're watching this on the East Texas Comic Con Fans Facebook page, welcome. And as soon as you're done, go on YouTube and hit subscribe. If you're watching this on the Louisiana Delta Content Careers Facebook page, welcome. And as soon as you're done, hit subscribe. And if you're watching this on the Comic Book Lovers Facebook page, welcome. And as soon as you're done, go on YouTube and hit subscribe. All right, I'm Victor Nunley on the Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 424. Well, 524. Still need to remember I'm in the 500s. I've been in the 500s since November, and I'm still not used to it. All right, until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero, and go gray in May.